na me de nyina de wo sort in maso ne so na ketewese me de abrɛw. Just to remind you, this is WhatsApp Radio, #1 radio station in London. The program you are listening to is Awareness with Nanahemaa. So unim se no numbo and then a little bit of issue. No numbo na se a pemu pe. Not just awareness you made you helibanjo pet, not just also for our kunya now. Now we were soon and some coach cobra near dinning abro. Ain't say if you just tune my main control say obey to me after and live our Facebook and so ain't making sure say obey tuning in and call WhatsApp Radio TV obey to me in na one so wash program no ewo honum. Now let's go and yemche and yoma this week akoso ewo Ghana me dibi ebaba betro or sick tragedy at Sabuba 10 HSS student drowned, 7 bodies retrieved. 2 armed robbers arrested, 1 shot dead. This year, Ghana, remember the last week, this year, RGP now, on the hair dump parade on Feniagro. Now, this week, who said to will be a so bebre, Ghana, emu papa. Also, anti-LGBTQ to Q plus bill Eurobond flop how some George tackled Gabi twice this week. Now you're quite anymore also Parliament to remember former President Rawlings a year after his dismiss. Not young kwa someone monim a former president a year but Senator or say how Senator boomed like her father about the hard NDC issues at 1 year anniversary. Chief Linquish sleep with 14-year-old daughter to confirm her virginity. This year, the open person who said, Obano or ye virgin now is there. Akusho kumamuhono. Eyochia maybe or the wako diagro just to confirm. Or this is believing. No, see believing, no feelings. Headmaster of St. Charles Liwanga RCJSS arrested. President approved state burial for Nana Kwame Ampedu anyon to for him and this week also review of the 1992 constitution to reflect current issues a year panelists normally about say a year 1992 constitution and you might be on my and you need too much in a current and your man be on my what into also almost no bobo muna almost say a or say or see your movie. Also, we need legal solution to teenage pregnancy. Some mama him say, mapa wana say crank it one crop munin seno. As this year, there's the mreba beton. Or the year dimratons, the wind him not say, we are brandy be now coshapin will no. That's a elko dis whom someone will be, that's when your baby and about. What a cop fan crown one emra baby. Now ya TSC NDC camp or say any attempt to bring back Nana Konedu to NDC will stir anger and anonymous among the members. A year Ben Ishon and a disanswer me a tweeter. Mama Mahama has no solution to Ghana problems. AMP before and a din semi ababe tuja. Nikwa Crown also please accuse husband of missing Rodalin for being behind kidnap. A year winning Sembebre and this week he akoso ewo Ghana. It's making sure say when you were free no enkobe bia. Nene ebedwafo a obeti omonka eye samiama the cooling down hat. Wafa na edwa. Mommy na yeswami ibe mommy no eje ne mayare. Eye mia me boss eye kwaku jesi bonso ene ono nso wafa na edwa. On the bia minim Oba no ababe mark me oba ke no ababe tena studio has oba ababe te show ni bi it yefo o mark am so mo mark ovi so mo Ain't without much I do, you see a time a quite cheaper. Ain't medane na mama bedwafo achi mama memfa and start a war. Sammy, good evening.
Good evening, Nana.
And how's your week been?
My week has been okay.
And this week, what's been the highlight? So when you just a question, India, they be me bisa.
There hasn't been any highlight, so I don't know.
And before we say what I kind of hide out, yeah, show what you. I see can be a peer baby among Ghana.
Yeah, I'm always
I'm show, and now they are looking at the wrong places. Almost your wrong place, Anna.
I'm always where
You're always where you are.
Always
Always where you are. And then you mercy. Now, so when him say and this week, and since this week on the 11th of November was Remembrance Day, and that is a Remembrance Sunday, and yeah, my unknown to her now. I'll come back to you on that. My main chair, Kweku. Now, Kweku, good evening.
Fine evening.
Hey, we don't make Ghana about fine evening.
Emotions no doors.
Emotions no doors. Well. Na and your man elko saying.
Yeah, nyame adaroma. Moje dear for anyway. So we are okay.
Oh, now said this let the old me call bunum pa as a word draw as you call. As I was say moja dear for na the katamada but dream so as I can I just say SCP. Is it? Now Katamada would dream. That means you are alive. Your tongue, yeah. It just said we are alive. Indeed.
Moja dream is like the beer is a bed.
Get on the view.
And I'm going
Now, this week, and that, for instance, today is Remembrance Sunday. Remembrance Sunday, and what it means is that all the fallen heroes are omoko war. Say be moko, you know, omamba. Maybe most koi omoba, you know, they came like not the same. Ebimo came as disabled. Ebimo so manye disabled physically, you know, they came with trauma. And Ebimo so almost serve country they are at war at the moment. And it's a drew because said you drew a year so anaya kaya you do for so yeah kaya and Remembrance Sunday, you know. Again, what message have you got for your military personnel sebi omodi omunkwa to war to fight omoji yeman eto war including UK, Ghana, and this year UK yeah na the weekend so account and omo so sebi omedi them and even those people who are serving. What have you got to say?
The nyame ase say na beto ye na debi say about ye come on say sometimes you know na if you say son the drew baby say no maybe not a bear irrelevant because at this particular point of time I woman so again sound to panel a see America DNA UK DNA no me the America wherever what do you say and why did they die? How could some people who survive become a hero or to kill someone no who were hero? O share we mu nyina chi a pesemi kunya na edisa a normal way apa sometimes no we have to recognize them. If we don't now say
we don't appreciate what they did.
We don't really appreciate what happened in the Asian day. But o share hu ye pa na why did we go to war? Why must we go and kill someone? Because but anyway, when we a different topic, but we are talking about remembering people who really sacrificed their life for mine. So appreciating the fact that they have done it, but now we are sounding a warning saying future we don't want heroes to come out through this particular way. we want heroes who can save life.
Mm.
We want heroes who can save the world.
Mm.
We want heroes who will do something to change what is happening in this world. We want heroes who will really, really eliminate poverty.
Mm.
This is what we are talking about.
Mm.
If we are saying, say, we are from Asase, we got Kokuno, me yet bomb. Now, Mama will be a drop of bomb, no, we promise to make no, not a Chinebi, you are my hero. I have been that. But having said that, no, those days, they're relevant.
Mm.
Those days, you know, maintain me one sending no man, so will be asking, we are seeing media, survival of the fittest. So, a idea relevant. And that's why, to me, when they remember this day now, I will accept it. But in future, I think we don't want heroes to come through this particular method.
Oh, okay.
Omo di omo to or woman or my no. The woman say and I'm so and I answer do but we hope say in future we will.
Yo, Keku, with it. Thank you for your narrative. I mean, caught some so I know that is it Friday was the 11th of November? So Friday was it? Was that on a Thursday? Yeah, Thursday was 11th of November. So on the 11th month at the 11th hour, for the 11th day in November, no, we remember our heroes, and then they remembering Sunday, and throughout the world, there's a lot of celebration to remember these heroes. A life at all to fight the war. And lots of countries, now for our generation, for us to enjoy and what we are enjoying now. Now, Sami, what have you got to say with a current JC attach on how about our 7 soldiers a bimu war at now, and people are still there almost say BBC what have you got to tell them as well, money on families?
Well, I mean, it's for as a soldier man, you obey and instruct and obey sort of command system. So as a soldier, you really don't have a choice than where your commander said that you need to go, or for that matter, the prime minister or the president tells you to need to go. So I'm sure that sort of profession where the discipline is there. But then on Remembrance Day, I think Jesse has touched on almost everything that I perhaps wanted to say. But isn't it interesting? And I say the first Remembrance Day that was observed in the United Kingdom when it was introduced by the then King George, the fifth. This was somewhere in 1919, 11th of November 1919, after the end of the First World War. Then, obviously, the King George asked the British people to observe 2 minutes silence, for the fallen heroes. And it's amazing, sir, for over 100 years, and and it will still be very relevant as it's celebrated all along the Commonwealth of the Commonwealth. So, which obviously I'm sure said that will be observed in Ghana. So there are a lot of people in the Commonwealth that went to war for the British and the Allied forces. It's not only even about the world wars, the first or the second, but it's also very relevant to fallen heroes in quite recent conflicts, in Syria, Iraq. I remember the Balkans War when the British invaded Argentina, the war, the just recent Iraqi war, all of the soldiers that have fallen. It's one of those things that you remember, you have to, people have given their life, for this country and for the whole world. I mean, there are some of the conflicts Jesse mentioned that there's the question of whether it was necessary, but I don't want to delve into that because the idea is not to actually even look at what the conflict is or not, but rather someone who has to obey what the command system says, go and fight, and the person hasn't got any other choice than to go and fight, and therefore they lose their lives. So you have to, they need to have that maximum respect, from us. for the sacrifices that they've made, whether good or bad in terms of what the ethics of the war is or no. These are for. I remember when we observe it in Ewe Jumemunu, we actually asked some of the kids to actually
Right.
not only the reading of what has happened in the past, but also relate it to their remembrance, people that are in their lives, that so to speak, you can still regard them as your heroes as well, even though they are not soldiers. So family members that have perhaps have one way or the other influenced people's lives, and for there was this opportunity for them to. There's a board that they have to write, people's names on, just
That's
to
very clever.
observe. Yeah, so on 2 minutes silent for those that they regard as their heroes. Yeah, so it was very engaging, very touching when I witnessed that. It's such a very surreal moment, observing that.
Yo, wait a minute, you better was the just to touch up, Sisi, are we talking about soldiers and we be talking about war and we're talking about people who kind of basically laid their lives down to save us. And one of the eminent thing that is one topic that is going on in Ghana at the moment is the IGP and his fight against crime and what he's doing in terms of policing. Now, this week is very interesting. Obai Yati Dampari, and even some people, musicians, are coming out with new enyoma etre the Dampari, and now the law no age. I Shatter has come out and says that the law is there and is working, and because some few people are about alcohol prison and not, the untouchables are not touched. And one of the areas in Ghana when we talk of policing is the fight against crime. Now this week, and you maybe Anna Akoso Ghana, I'd like to touch on this story. Or sit 2 robbers arrested, 1 shot dead. The police have arrested 2 persons in the Upper West region for allegedly robbing and injuring 2 victims. A press release issued by the police said the suspect, Musdin Isahaku and Alhassan Musa, who were part of the gang of 4 on a robbery spree on Saturday, November the 13th, in the Wild West district for the Upper West region. And the release said the gang also stabbed 2 of their victims who are currently responding to treatment. Now, didn't you have a story? This is one story. Now, what is interesting is that this week, another story about and I'm sure you never seen Eddie who and Sembe Bismarck Efra a little bit detail. There's also been another, or say upper danger west a double 3 killed as armed robbers engaged in gun battle with miners. A young Kofua or more mining. Now I want us to look at crime. And because that is, we are also at war when we talk about crime. Because first, gone are the days now Ubi corner, Akofa support, Akofa TV. Now they come with guns and it's becoming more kind of more. Sisi aye unam Ghana nase unam anajua humo. In terms of the fights, cracking on guns and dumping and what is happening, especially this week. Do you think, do you think with this IGP, in terms of the gun crime, where do you think we are? Do we have confidence so far? You're confident when you want to say, do you think there is something he needs to push more and more resources into?
Nana, yeah, that's it. Say you can crime once and wait. And I did be about radio so now Ghana, you can't mind Ghana once because say you say Akola Oma Nemame and now, yeah. The reason why crime abaye rampant my Ghana is and they say sometimes so kind of Obibe can say because of social media, the some of these crimes, say even if they are not being reported, crime they are being exposed, and a lot of these things are coming out, but normal we know say a normal me your baby am before.
Was it like a thief and as an arm robbery case?
A
Theft.
And what happened? I slept and this guy, I woke up and I realized that no man want me there were gone because I didn't lock my door. And then, funny enough, I had a corner in my place.
Ghana seminar.
Making. At the point, crime no no. That was the time I woke up. So this guy ran to go and hide somewhere. So when I got up and I was walking around, unfortunately, he came out from his hideout and started running. So I also give him a chance. Young fair non change. When crimes like those ones, idea, crime on the fire, but I don't. I mean, some no man getting. These are crimes enkunipa idea put your life in danger any normal. But see the way now Ghana crime no say we have guys going out there we win or we lose in the form say do or die issue. Your corner and whatever will save our life, no, we have to do it. And when they are going with knives, neck up lalexes ye cow. See you could you now that is the what you this is a kind of level crime a draw Ghana. Sometimes crime be a level. Okay, yeah, well, this pickpocketing was very common some years back in Ghana. Now it's not there anymore. It is still there, but and also it is people planning to go out there and rob. To extent said daylight robbery, the police for a geomutio billion van. The last time police near or take police car my guy this car broad daylight they shoot you a risk. So therefore the question is why is it say everybody all the youth and check the age bracket now about
20s
30s. Why go school. Why have they tend to cry all of a sudden? And to the point Nene said there's something we are not doing right. If we think it's crime, cost all the time. We have to find a way. We've done Paris issue dealing with crime. These kids have been shot dead, and we say they are criminals, right? Why are we saying they are criminals? What kind of evidence do we have to say they are criminals?
That's what the police report said.
But the police don't have the final say. Say, for the fact said this guy, a normal old Johnny, or a criminal, I will see you. That is for the law, to decide. Say, I dare not Kolana Koyeno, a chrono, ain't I will see a chiom. None of the airports are here. Innocent people will be killed. Okay, Maintain said Sikenibi Ba has been killed mistakenly. It never happens, oh my God. When there's a crime, that war, affluent areas now, I don't know how they deal with it, but they don't kill people over there. Obi no ote labade a friends airport residential area maybe a police attitude they wouldn't fire the gun over there. Some betua where in Krasifo nimu the urban areas now around na to rough so obi ko bokro no wo these areas yabacho they on bacho so to me crime is not good. We have to find a way to bring down crime. But at the same time, no, we have to educate people to understand, say, in reality, there's a process that you have to go through. That process works.
But don't you think that in the past, that the trust of that process, was abused? Hence, people will take the law into their own.
It's been abused now, and it's been even made worse if there's anything like a year, because the law enforcers now,
Koko Janaho, Mamen call Samiso Embra 1 minute. Said Kuku Atache or punches be. Let's look at crime. In Ghana, just recently before Dan Paribebano, we heard about some high kind of level and as high profile criminals and as a crime in terms of gunshots, armed robberies, Ghana. With these IGP Obaye and from my attitude, do you have confidence in the fight of crime against these kind of high profile robberies in Ghana?
Oh no, it's too early to make any judgment on the performance of the IGP. I mean, as we speak right now, my young life, the experiences of having an IGP in Ghana, he's been the most successful. I would say in a short space of time, the impact that he's had. I mean, so the success could be measured in a very different way. Confidence level in the police service has quadruple. I'm pretty sure if they do a survey right now, you're probably going to find out, say, more people have trust now in the police service than they had for so many years. So in those aspects, he has been successful. And if you want to judge him also, to see whether you'll be able to fight these sort of crimes, high profiles, you label them. So gun crimes, those ones. We live to see. Nana, I would say is the answer. But you might want to if you want to judge him based on whether he will be successful, I think there are some interventions that you need to look at and see whether those interventions that needs to be done are being implemented as we speak. And I have listened and read, some of the few engagements that the IGP has done with the public. Quite recently, the call for, the engagement that he had with the so-called celebrities in Ghana and the sort of conversational, policing that he has introduced, so to speak, in a way to bring those sort of trust back and also at the same time get the people who are in that way committing those sort of, and I'm talking about the social media platforms issues. So that engagement that he did was a very massive one. It was a good. It all tells you his projection of how he wants to bring community policing into how the police service usually works. But that's not the only thing that I've seen which gives me a bit of confidence in him. It's also some interventions which I've heard that he's actually doing, and he's brought so much community policing where the visibility of the policeman and woman is actually now increased. The horses are being used to fight crime. My understanding also that they're using cameras quite a lot that they haven't used for a while now. So these small policing tactics, then it does make a significant difference. In the high profile crimes like armed robbery, it needs a lot of intelligence. What I heard him saying the other time, I think not him said, one ACP, what's his name? No, Kofi Buachi. The other ACP, can I say what they intend to do or what they are actually doing is to create the how do you call it, the non-uniform policing, and then trying to get the intelligence building within communities. So these people that you send to communities to undercover policing, they want to do that as well. So they're going to train a lot of people to engage within community. I'm sure these are things that they already there as a tactics for the police service, but I guess the implementation of it, always comes from leadership. So if the person that is on the leader has tried to bring some of these simple police tactics into reality now, it will make a significant difference. Armed robbery, we know, has increased now, and Nana, there's so many factors that has contributed to the way armed robberies are. One of them, which 100% sure we know, is the economic impact of how people unemployment, out of jobs, and there's nothing for them to do. The lack of education as well, because there's a direct link between criminality and education. And when I say on education, people that perhaps they see themselves not having much of a future, they can't go into employment. So sometimes the easy way out is to take arms and basically force people to get some kind of earning. And those things, we have to try to draw the links between them, because they are varied. And that's why then it's very important that any government that you come into power, the youth, and we could mention the age groups of people that are committing crime, and they are within those ages, 18, 19, all the way to in the 30s. And that tells you that this is where the youth, and therefore with the failure of the system to try and create employment, create jobs for the youth, can lead into, because people become very disillusional, on how, if you can't see hope, you can't see anything forward going, there's nothing much you can do than to force yourself on people and get. I'm not in any way condoning say armed robbery is justified, but you cannot talk about those facts without revisiting the problems that actually have caused some of these problems that we have. And so there has to be a lot of intervention, and it's not only about the police. The police service, to quite honest, they're actually doing their best, but of course we know they can do more than that. But also, before Nana Jesse mentioned something which is also very, very important, because I think it's something that has also been missed in the framework of the conversation that we have in about the shooting of armed robbery, the impact. I mean, if you hear, then I say an armed robber has been shot dead, you wouldn't whinge, you wouldn't feel any chills in your spine. All you would say is in your mind, yeah. Exactly. So, we need to basically, if people or robbers die as a result of gun exchange between them and the police, then of course the police will have to be defend themselves by shooting back. So those sort of ones, when they die, I don't really have much of a problem, because you could see clearly say there is that exchange between the police and the robber. But also we need to have a system where, irrespective of what happened in there, whether the police, the armed robber shot the police, and the police responded back, there has to be an independent body that will have to go in and see whether the justification of using the arms at that particular time was actually justified. Because earlier than that, we're going to have a lot of human rights abuses, we just mentioned. It's actually quite important, because sometimes it is very easy. An armed robber should be killed in your mind, but they are also humans. There are some of them that you'll be very surprised if they have the right intervention, get arrested, put into the prison service, rehabilitated. You will probably be surprised some of them will actually come back and become good citizens.
Sammy, hold on, and I'm glad that you basically led me to my next question. We're talking about armed robbery crimes and high-profile crimes in Ghana. Let's go to our prisons.
Yeah.
And this week, we all knew IGP by a lot of discussion about prison and prison, high profile, Reverend Shatawale, and all those high profile people that are more community. Now, I was listening to a discussion on Nanahemaa the program, and we had other celebrities, and one person was Nanahemaa Anamwa, and we were talking about, and some other celebrities are also Aqua prison, and they were talking about the the condition now prisoners ni woman no, and not even just that. Po omo e omo call remand.
Yeah.
Obiara Korea sikabi ebia 500 Ghana and I say wa Korea like visa koku ade okre iron. Na e de na call remand. Nipa need to meet that police cells or for sometimes 5 years. Na or say it's just a square place be out your one na bet na for 2 years. Who we are who she one out say and the condition on. Do you think it's about time? We all know that it's time. It needs to be looked into. It's any pan or muba. Even when people have been convicted, be on my yenti or massam grandpo for years, yenti or massam near you local prison. Now, on my yenti or massam de or prison when they come back to the society now. And Anama and Amwama, but for Binya, they meet me as the society no rejects them. There is no system via or my take you like you said, you know. I just say Omubano Omu ebe bam for so. Sebi, young Ghana compare UK, but sometimes you need to compare na you see the Chroma obi to me call prison based on the crime or to me go school back to me cry benya certificate be your bar, not to say or the baby yejuma. But Ghana no koba one can busha for crown they judge you by the way you were before, left alone the society. And to do things what system they bet to me the actual I bet to me ama say yeni no more say for whatever reason I'm copy prison or mo buy you bet to me a geo na society and so a geo ama almost who have a so to for us to begin to tell.
Well, and the simple answer is economics, you know, and you can only have any of these interventions if you have a strong economy, and strong economy means the opportunities for employment and the opportunity to engage them into some kind of a trade, learning some trade should be good. I think that there's already some few charities in Ghana that actually do some of these interventions, rehabilitating prisoners. But of course, you will agree, sir, the funding for these things, you know, has always been the biggest challenge, because to rehabilitate one prisoner will perhaps cost quite a lot of money. So you're looking at someone who, if unlucky, they don't have any skill, now you need to retrain them, and retraining people into a trade, it will cost a lot of money to do, because the lifespan of how long the training will go. And also, apart from that, you know, you mentioned about the housing issues that they might be facing. If perhaps those people, they don't actually have anywhere to be, you need to cater for that. So the challenge is going to be very, very massive, judging mainly from the sort of economy that we have. If governments will be able to intervene, then it means government need to create opportunities for these people to be able to get some of these things done. The social welfare, I'm not sure if they have, maybe they do, you know, a branch that deals with this, but then it still goes back to the same issue again about funding. And if there is enough money available, then you will be able to apply some of these interventions, you know, and help out. I think it will be a challenge for any government, judging from the pairs that we have and the amount of money in the wallet, and as to whether there is enough money to go by to look at people who are non-criminal in nature, because there are a lot of people that are already suffering, you know, in the way that government will perhaps want to channel those energies around there, and therefore having to channel another money to someone who supposedly is criminal. And that's why you see these prisons, you know, because government is not really interested in the proper rehabilitation that needs to be done in this prison. Because if you want to rehabilitate someone, you will have to create that opportunity for them so that they don't go back to crime again. But those things are not happening properly in the prison service, and as you actually rightly witness. So it will be challenging, Nana. But the easy question, the easy answer will be say it has to take some kind of a political will. If it's only the government that has to base on that, but also maybe some of the interventions can also come from these NGOs. You know, those ones that, you know, tap into foreign donations and foreign money, and even within Ghanaian community, you know, you could create something that could, help out about creating some rehabilitation centers where you can send some of these people to. But and I don't think it's an easy fix to such a massive problem like rehabilitation of prisoners. It probably, as I was just speaking, it just came across my mind. And I know some of the churches actually do that. Maybe the churches can actually take some of these, responsibility
Church of
in
Pentecost has built
yeah,
a prison.
the prison, yeah. And that prison, I'm pretty sure, say it will be equipped with facilities that not only you serving, but you also training whilst you there. I'm hoping so that is what it is.
Now, can I say something about
Yeah.
So if you look at the way now, the situation of our prison tells you the value of life, the way we value life. You know, in fact, if you go to prison, you are seen as a condemned person.
Yeah.
Because the environment itself, if you come out from prison now, you will be damaged. What you've seen, what you've gone through, even I don't think anything they will teach you over there will be able to sink, because the situation is so inhumane to extent that you will find it so difficult to relate to anything that they teach you. But there's no life.
But isn't that interesting that one of the things that a lot of prisoners they find solace is religion. That a lot of people come out, and they say, "I am born again."
Yes, because the situation over there is hopeless. You know, as we walk here, we can say Yenye Christopher because there's hope. Akwala Obabe to me and say, Mom, I don't care about whatever you do, simple because Onuso Chana Hoa, Ubenya baby Edidi, Oktan Nenkrata no Koso Kopel Human, Ubenya Dume. In our situation, these kids are hopeless, and that is why you find them going into this crime. And when they are caught by the law now, there's no mercy, there's nothing like pityness for this case. They don't even look at why this case are going into crime. They send them to a place that before they come out, there's no life for them again in our society. Right? People like Jimamo and then Norma, they are lucky, because I have listened to Jima when he was narrating his prison experience, and he was saying, every time when they are sleeping, people die among them all the time. When they are sick, they will not even take them to hospital. They bring them from the room and put them outside, and sometimes when they die, it takes 3-4 days for them to be picked up until it is smelling. No, but so to me now, there's one thing I have realized in life. The value you place on people is the same value that these people will place on you. You cannot force respect. You cannot force anything. If we come together and you realize that everybody has value in life. When we talk like this, people take it generally. But you realize that if you give someone the respect now, there's something that this person can do in his life for the country. A bit to me, a benefit you. I mean, you take the Kaya, for example, for the father or swallow normal shouldn't give you that. And he said, over disrespected that person. That is what he is doing. That is where he found himself. That is what. So respect him and give him his due. The value you place in these people, this same value will be placed on you, whether you are a radio presenter, whether you are a pilot, and there will be respect. And when there is mutual respect, that is what we call humanity. Now we are living in harmony, peace and harmony. Everybody is respecting one another. There wouldn't be anything. So did he? Nasa maswa no mana wo no mana maswa no. Madam Fukwesi, o se wo sebita frache. ɔsɛ wo a wuni kwasi awo pepe ni sɛbi tafra kyɛ o sɔrɔ mpɛnfo wo pepe ni aboa wo bɛfa me nneɛma a wo na woyɛ nkwasi asɛ asantini bɛma sɛ yɛ agorɔ koraa na wodi a ekurom ha ntumi nni saa agorɔ wei because they want you to value everybody the same respect, you know, that tells you something about civilization and how words affect people to do things. They know all these things, and so I will say your chance here placing value on people and respect people. It doesn't matter what they do. You can be in the classroom, somebody can be on the can be carrying whatever. The same respect should be given to the same people, and together we can build this country happily. And it could be free baby and crime would definitely some of this crime I can once a week. And ebi mo kɔ krono ana ebi mo kɔ prison because of any brain. Ana obi aye bibi ana obi aka asɛm bi atia no asɛm no yɛ ne ya twɛn na obi hu ni normal that sort of thing. Because ebi ho aye mu wɔn and then go with. Do you know how many times security watchmen my area bosses say any crime that is happening now yes because people don't respect it.
Kweku made us say one other story at here for our time check at the moment is 5 minutes past 6 Sankomono crime so and you know say when it gets to crime is one of the very important topics Ghana yemfa any agrokra. And this week Kweku Ukabibi say you talked about respect and even now I want to move a little bit further to add professionalism to it. This week and Yoma Bakwa about say tragedy as Saboba Ayeten JHS student drawn 7 bodies retrieved. 7 bodies have been retrieved after a canoe which was ferrying some students of the St. Charles Wanga Junior High School as Saboba in the northern region capsized on the Oti River. 3 other students were still missing as of the press time yesterday. And see the head teacher of the school no arrested no actually or nakasa ended no kunkoy na to give you a little bit background of the story for so story now say head teacher no or your rice farming and no also sound right munko na munko cha emu no and famame na omuba no they used 2 canoes they have from the story is over 30 students and omuko na bako capsize and a did sad tragedy but then let's be talking about crime. Share papa na ye hu na busu avon na de tia no no akasa eko hande myself in. Now we hear these stories about teacher for omutumide and kora ekoye ejuma because of cheap labor. I won't even call it cheap labor because I don't think said omutuya omoka. And Kweku Ote story, knowing your knowledge about a chrome has said the way Ankara one kasau background sometimes you can on your house chores you have to put money in the piggy bank. Money fear you know. Not head teacher, a professional head teacher. What to me a man Kara ako well from at na canoe so and cry over 30. Say omunko cha emo and family. What's here? This is child labor. What's his story? What was your initial reaction in terms of professionalism? Actually, my first story and first is amazing because say we only a teacher need. So we a teacher need now students a chroma now to go and do something and just say you idea a better more profit your own business now. Strategy is it like this? What's your story? What was your initial reaction?
No, I mean, to be honest, it doesn't have to be said we a teacher need to make an analysis on this because a crime has been committed, you know, with either way that you look at it. So, I mean, it's very clear, say, even if when your teacher need na or name kola to go and do labor, and I'm pretty sure, say, it will be an unpaid labor with no health and safety, concerns being taken into. So this is a crime. So I'm expecting, rightly, as the police have already intervened and the man haven't handed himself in. I expect the police to do what the needful thing is to do is to arraign him before the locals. But if you want me to answer the specific question about the ethical issues and the code of practice as a teacher, and as to whether you can engage in those sort of practice now, the answer is an absolute no. Even I mean, Chrome Heart standards are literally very different compared to Ghana in terms of, I mean, the code of practice. I'm pretty sure they are very very similar, but the practice of the code of practice, and the implementation of it, yeah, Chrome Heart you find it very very seriously. So you cannot engage in any sort of even trade. I can't even accept gifts from a student. So it goes to that sort of extent, of the what you can engage in and what you cannot engage. So definitely something like when you I would just lose my license straight away. If something like that is actually reported, then the punishment will definitely come. And I'm pretty sure said the police will be involved in that. They will just get you to the police, and the police will deal with you. And rightly so, you have to be dealt with in terms of, because you are in a position of trust as a play as a, and it's not even only a teacher. Anyone that work with children, you will be in a position of trust. So the expectation is when you are in that position of trust, you cannot abuse that position. And when you do abuse now, then the law will take its effect on that. So I'm sure Sinana is the same in Ghana, but the problem has always been said, is it always implemented to the letter as it suggests in the code of practice? No, it doesn't. Then that's why the abuses that happens in Ghana is kind of on the rise in a way. I've seen situations where some teachers, I will probably say, engaging in relationship issues with children, and there were some videos that were sent, which yeah, which I mean, it does happen as well in the West. Once in a while, you hear cases of. I quite remember there was some case some years back where this teacher ran away with their students to France, yeah, and oh yeah, but so if he did, yeah, he did, and obviously, so it's legal. The guy will be of legal age now. She can make a decision as to whether she wants to go ahead with being in a relationship. Nothing stops her from doing that. But it's very clear, the way to deal with these sort of things now are issues of, and I always come back to the thing last year discussing about the church and how I mentioned about the code of practice again.
Yeah.
It's always that because the licensing, there's a body that deals with the licensing for you to practice. So when you breach those licensing rules, then your license will be jeopardized in that way. If it has to be revoked, then it will be revoked in a way. So you always have to fall back on that, because people need to understand what they are doing, what they are risking. And if the risk is very high now, it's very clear that people normally tell. And that is, we obey the rules here because we're scared of the rules, because the rules do bite, to that extent. So you don't have a choice unless you obviously don't enjoy what you're doing. But if you do enjoy, there are certain things you cannot do as a teacher. You not even think about it, doing something like that's silly like that.
Mamen ko kweku rem se teacher for na omo abasem. Apart from a teacher for, and I want us to try and expand this discussion beyond the teaching profession. And I who say ambulance, the ambulance services. Because Obi has got the power to control it. Cement, cement. Ubeko and no just while abusing the power in some respect. Ubeko Obi office you try and car 9 to 5 o'clock. Ubeko no not 9 o'clock or back 11 o'clock. No ababa be diwach we are and sana juma fire friend nest the also line no about. Ain't these kind of practices as Ghanaians, we all know say we all need to sit up and play our cards well because this year the laws worked and run a year to my show one and and what can we put together? And I said, what should we put in front of Ghanaians? And I said, the law enforcement one. No, be able to say, Emrano a year, Juma. It doesn't matter. Teacher for the and one basem. What about a catch for who's really a neoma, Eddie Buffy, and even kids, people who are the home orphanage, you know, Adriania, they come up and crown. They use it for themselves, and the clothes people have donated to the kids. No, they sell it, and who is kind of policing these sort of things? And what can we do as a country to bring some of these things?
Some can say we never say who practice the practice or the other one who
practicing the code of practice.
Practicing the code of practice. You know, interesting. Now, so we share indiscipline. I want every sphere of life. I mean, if you look at the politicians, pastors, teachers, bankers, everybody in the country is indisciplined. I'm sure mom will use road drivers. But teacher ne issue. Me question me go say. So when you soon kwalana kucha amona one day kucha.
But don't you think, sir, I understand that question, you know? And I happen to teach every classic and you classic kind of tool and you classic part. And sometimes it becomes a norm. Say it's even a privilege, say, even to some of the parents, you know, say, me ba o teacher niyama na koye juma ewo mefu, you know, and I said wa koye juma wo ifi because I don't know whether you delved into this story now. Yes, the parents of these kids, they say it's an act of God.
Now that is where I was coming to. I wouldn't say an act of God, but see when you see what has happened now, we are looking at the teacher. Say Odinkwalano, Akucha, Emo, Ena Omebewu. But the buyer a man kwalani wuye no any teacher ni spray kwalano or the akati spray or no. The act of taking the kids to the efuomo a different issue. You bet me a deal. What really happened for this case to die? The capsizing of the canoe. What role did the teacher play in that process? He paid people to transport this case from one point to the other. And I said, canoe, all these things should be looked into.
And the safety measures.
Safety measures. Because there are canoes in Ghana that carry maybe more than 30 people. And they haven't died. And this is not the first time a teacher used 30 kids to go to his farm. They are still doing it. They say, I'm not going to say, Obi Ohana 30, maybe a 2. Me wo Adam for teacher ni oba Ghana. My friend boys won the fee. Omo buano. Ibi sini normal, ibi tune normal, any normal. You know, and like you are saying,
those people count themselves blessings.
Exactly. And through that, and also no, abuse kwalano and abuse woman. Me wanada adafo. Yeah, wa worry in a akwalo trainer there. Madam for pa. Se akwalo be school on in a choni na wo be 3. Okoko chira there. And at what point no shall say so akwalo have a relationship. So the point I am saying is and no say is here. The reason why we don't make progress is because we only concentrate, we want to prevent shame. because everything is politicized in the country.
So the question I have here is, how can we, as a country, we all know that these sort of things, it's some kind of code of ethics.
Yeah.
It shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So where do we start the education to make sure say obiya baby or obiya or and for people to understand say these sort of things, is a no-go area.
But answer na mesa ba no so bio mama ntwe nko atire kakra nana teacher na no wadua bro emo na ni eno okuta in the first place you busa say mo na dua bro
Every crown I am no.
This is what I'm talking about. Same wa or a teacher ni. Can you invite any child in this country to come to your house to come and wash your plate?
Hey, you bet me.
Who the infant said the Akolano will even tell you, say, I'm not coming, I can't do that. Do it yourself.
Yeah.
Because the standard now, even if it is not the code of practice now, the country is not poor to extend said and collab and was so
but sometimes, I understand that some of them is linked to poverty, but sometimes it becomes something like the education around it, because people feel say, I say, it be a teacher need be or one crying. They not coming and they cry, see to say, now a crashing in our bar. Even the parents, they are more there. Say, hey, teacher, need to me, hey, me basta breakfast and okay, now woman, I mean, see me, so the education, they think it's a privilege to be a
Nana, there are things education can do. There are things, it doesn't matter how you push education will never do anything. What did the American say? There are things education can do. If meeting Nyumbi recently, ewo my Ghana, wouldn't be on a common unipa out of coronavirus. This is what they are saying, say a common is killing them already. And for you to come and tell them, say coronavirus, and no advantage because they are dying. What I say, so the point I'm trying to make over here and I say, if you find yourself in certain situation, it doesn't matter what your parents or whatever education they give you, you will flat those rules and go and find food and eat because a survivor of the fittest.
Yo, Kweku, that's it. Jinawa mame. Our time check at the moment is 21 minutes past 6. Say if you hire the parliament and numbers and idea money is 0208 144 8773. 0208 144 8773. As usual, in Juma Kobe and Soya Senate. Now every week in, week out, did you mediate bro? It's me you with Fidiano and Kobe. I will be right back.
Casting advisory is what you need. Are you looking for business solutions that will serve your needs? Further, because Casting Advisory is all you need. Casting Advisory is a unique advisory firm that provides specialized solutions in tax and business planning, audit and assurance services, company secretarial services, corporate advisory, corporate training, tax policy advisory, charity registration and accounting, gift aid for churches and charitable organizations. Our understanding and industry experience provides a cutting-edge software solution tailor-made for your firm. Locate Casting Advisory in the UK, Suite 4, the Generator Business Center, 95 Miles Road, Meacham, Surrey, CR4 3FH, or call us in the UK on 020-840-81520 or 078-867-15702 or email us at info@castinggroup.com. And in Ghana, locate Casting Advisory Suite 5, the first floor of the Zerka Plaza, Tetegu Junction, Southeast Ranger off the Kaswa Highway, or call 0249-700-075. Casting Advisory, the delivery of excellence redefined. Casting Advisory is what you need.
Trinity Driving School, your #1 driving school in the UK.
Did you know that they are equipped with professional driving instructors who will teach you to pass your test with ease?
So, if you want to pass your test please look no further.
Contact Trinity Driving School on 07507 116997.
Trinity, safe and responsible driving.
Jack, Utie WhatsApp Radio.
WhatsApp Radio. I love this station.
Welcome back, Katie, for yeah, Daniel, who are yeah, but yeah, before say a corner, we're talking about yeah, teacher near for whatever reason we decided to honor the any student and only more a baby so more for child labor is actually child labor. Unfortunately, a year northern region her baby and Kola 7 this year on Matwan and and we're talking about yet it's here and Kora right. So now yejina sa we be linking that we look at crimes, yeah, link it to a year IGP don't parry sisi say how or sisi de juma on the shopper because Ghana de kwaku say Ghana de ye nyina ye yare obia fam emrano emfa ye juma. Now one other interesting story about Osei Chief Lemkwe sleeps with 40-year-old daughter to confirm her virginity. Hey, this is muday emu idea bia ha dream pa. Now, who read this story now? Story every me screen so. Now the bottom line is say pay not on the near and one and a call a year. Who read this story now? The buyer could carry according to the story or say or the public name fan on why no him poke is why this attendance ball who push and is about or no catch him and the base any money name share or buy some penny on any praise or pay wedding and I didn't know of course a particular tomu we are some bon and waka and say and can't enter obia some way the men can't do obia unfortunately a funny papa ne ma me ba na je say obo na mane no e na je say akwala yi ne yire de kobo hene a wo krom ho amane a ohene e de ma aposifo a sisi a ye na na chia me sisi a ne ho adadwam papa a sisi a ne ho e chiri ne ye e the story minim dia me panelist minim dia pese obepeke sa story up sisi a ye count cry ye titi omo fa ahudie so na sebi enim sebi sebi obi na ti ankofo ma fa ahudie so na mapa wache mo ba awo no na je se utumi chi akran ma akono ben kwa ti akran mpoko gina wa wadware a what's that one why from just say you know papa yam to me resist this to be fair no this is not the first time we've heard of these kind of defilement, incest, and so what say you know? I know say it's not something interesting. I'm fans that so cool. What's the story, Papa? Or Chami and
Nana, we spoke about indiscipline in the country, and you look at where we are heading to now. One kasa in sema year Kenya, set watching over na wanyim na oba young girl. And this is not idea a yet is a Audi can kind a yet one because Bibri see they must be Bibri see a day and a year found. Or just say a day near found. Where are your chairman? Also, or yet a day or your chairman. A damn party between I found a walk near see police who are a walk, sir, district or no. Can you say, answer the basic police down? You go home or Henna and son of or Henna, Mamma, Sassy and Sunny, sit down. Unya corner say, hey, yes, your charm is saying, say, you do better tomorrow. I'm so okay, put in to move ya, to police station in Bria. You know, so Nana, the indisciplinary course or no, a war mine, it need checking. But yebu ye niegu enome soa ma yaye ya kakra me won kwala ne bi me won ma mienu o manyinyini omuso mpoko anomu pa na I having I have never sat down. Said it a fracture. Me decide say even me bad them crown, me money them crown, say me call me to me a boy rather anymore, just like that to open the door. Because I don't even want to go and see people do it. Okay, mommy can be true. Obi can be true. Or so on ne bano, ne baba, or no one ne dware or no one who akwala na ho, or no one ye ni bibia. Waya makwala na ni. Okay? I don't know how to say this. Whether a abuse or it's not abuse, I don't know. Can I do that? No. O say, why if you are calling and calling brim, I'm a calling nyansa no ojai. At the moment, I'm calling 50. Okay, answer na ojai, but odina wana calling jare no ba. No say akola akola no nyare here. Otumi ko jare akola na. Neba.
Anyway, so if it's a father-daughter relationship, I don't think it's something that I would condone, but I mean, I guess if there is no abuse going on.
But how do you define abuse?
I know that's where I find it difficult. I mean, if I call no penny and papa
abuse,
then it is abuse because it's without a person. And even to be honest, I mean, morally, I mean, it's so yucky, for at that age, because when you abuse,
now even so, me na me share me manuma. I stayed with them for a very long time when they were kids. I bought them. Make us say me marry me manager.
Yeah, at some ages
you clean them up sometimes.
At some ages will be
exactly. But what I haven't done in my life is to say jari akola, nebia akola. I will leave that to my wife to do.
Yeah, rightly so.
Obaba.
Okay. So I haven't done intimate stories. You say now I'm a bit careful because every relationship now kwano and then bano one meaning what I say on then bano you're very close. There's a grown up person or your madam for or your bar, and she told me say or penny papa sempa. Na nkwala bremu no the way are not penny papa asem send the papa catch and saw in the bed and connect obema ne papa. She told me plain. I said I don't care, I wouldn't have told anybody, I would have done it. So we are talking about some of these things because I palano be in wagoka. Therefore, how do we draw the line? Must we say in Kwalana or Mopeno? Must we allow them to do it?
It's incest. It's against the law.
Exactly. So we have to make the law clear. So whether Kwalana pay or pay, and you're wrong.
The law is very clear. Incest is criminal offense. So, I mean, to be quite honest with you, this is not even debatable at all as to what has happened. If there's a sexual, intercourse, even a sexual assault, now it's still in a way this is regarded as an incest, so it's a criminal offense. So the law will have to deal with it, in its entirety. But then this tie down really well with one of the stories that I also saw about the number of teenage pregnancies that is on the rise, and therefore the Parliamentary Caucus on Population and Development thinking about how I implementing law to curb this situation. But now, deep in the story, in the data that they gave from the Ghana Health Service suggests, and I'll read the data for you, 2,865 girls between the ages of 10 to 14 years old.
10 to 14?
10 to 14 years olds were made pregnant in 2020, and 107,000. Look at the figure.
15 to
107,000 girls aged between 15 to 19 were made pregnant in 2020. And that, for me, that is where the main concerns are. And we have to delve into what has necessitated society to get these sort of things to become be on the increase. The age of consent in Ghana is 16-year-old. So these 10 to 14 years, if people that basically made them pregnant are still walking free now, then the society in general will fail as a community because this is crime
But
in
isn't
its
that
entirety.
interesting? So I remember when we were young, there used to be civic education
Yeah.
about our coin, teenage pregnancy, na my and those times, now before CCI, you can say we were the station stage, you don't see these sort of things at what TV so.
Yeah, but
And there was
even
a lot of education on that.
yeah, I mean, but even so, I'm trying to think about. I mean, why is Parliament want to enact a law to protect, so to speak, say these groups of people for, supposedly to prevent them from getting pregnant. We already have a law which suggests clearly, say, only will be that between these ages now, there was no
minor.
consent. Even if they give consent, they still don't have consent.
What if they are also minor?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If the consent age of consent is 16, Ghana, so we are 15 now, you can't have sex by law. I mean, if you have it, you have to have it in the quiet because I mean the law will not prosecute you for having sex, but it will prosecute the person that has sex with
No,
you.
I'm saying that it's a nipa chrono on any yes idea no.
Yeah.
And so you're minor.
Yeah, you both so and mainly from my understanding that there was a case law in the UK. Bearman and they prosecuted Bearman and Obama rather goes for free. In that I've seen there was a similar case but I understand if both are minors what do you do with them, but I would want to know the figures that they have here as to if supposedly these 2,400 kids that have been made pregnant, are they the people that made them pregnant, are they still walking about in Ghana freely? Because sometimes what the family would do is say, oh, then they will will go and sit together and compensate that, yeah, exactly, and then they say eventual quality and all of that.
But isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Now we've got the law.
Yeah.
Then we have our
The
traditional.
law has always been there.
Yeah. No. You let me bring my argument up. We have something we call isiwa. I don't know whether you've heard of isiwa. Say akwala oba then now obi ade na no abeto ne so say oba we die on one and they start paying his school fees, trying to look after akwala no ye bibia and akwala ni do age bia waso aware. And even if you go to the northern part of the country now, obi oho ma large bi wa worry akọ ye no ho ade but ohwe mankra na minor but yagye atum traditionally no omaji atum say akwala we alaji we yere no and as oba we alaji we yere but to kohwe no na age no or minor. So where are we when it gets to our tradition or our culture in collaboration or against the law? No?
Sorry, Jessica.
No, I mean, now me person me can teenage pregnancy issue, and then the Nanahemaa something that even though it related to the same. Some mention of this. Can we really talk about the causes of it?
Yeah, I was going to go into that as well, but you can go on.
No, I mean, if we can talk, because you are making a very good progress on that.
Until Nana intervened, I was going to go on to the political angle of some of these problems that we're having now. And that's why I'm asking, if Parliament said they're going to enact law to prevent this, have Parliament actually seriously looked into the real cause of the problem? Free SHS, Nancy Ominto, because this is a very recent problem, 2020. I'm not saying there hasn't been teenage pregnancy in the past, but it's on the increase in a very massive level. How many of these 17, what was the figure, 15 to 19-year-olds were sitting home and getting pregnant out of, because of the shift system that they're running? And we have to, it's so unfortunate, and Ghana, we don't play with data. We don't analyze data. If we do, we don't actually use the data significantly as it should be, because someone should actually sit down and gather proper evidence to suggest how many of them were home when they got pregnant. Was there a direct link between staying at home when you should be in school.
And it's so easy to
You
do.
know, it's so easy,
to do
because all you have to do look at when they got pregnant.
Exactly.
Because how many months is the pregnancy?
I mean, when they get pregnant, they come to hospitals anyway.
Yeah.
So when they come to hospital, when did you get pregnant? Why were you going to school?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
You get this information very
Yeah.
easy. But
Yeah.
like you are saying, so I mean, the country is just in a situation whereby we have the country is in autopilot. Nobody is just running the country. Everything is happening in its natural way.
Yeah.
And say a bro ne be fifia, the bro to run fifi. There's no way we do anything to a bro. Everything, all the people in it, everybody is just nyame na raising here. That's why we keep saying say nyame bear, don't worry, nyame bear. So we don't wait. We don't get to an age I person you.
Yeah.
So because we are still there.
Yeah.
So like you said, the free SHS is a problem. It is. And having said that, NDC for some reason were saying this when they introduced the free SHS, and they were saying that people were going to go to this traffic light. But at least in this case, you have to know your kids. You have to know what they will do. Apart from that, this celebrity culture that is going on in the country, whereby Obito Swan, they give that person credence than somebody who is learning. Now, when you turn to social media, there's somebody, everybody is just doing it. And it has become, there was one story I read on my show about a year ago. These girls were allowing themselves to be they were giving themselves to men just because they have a social media account they want to update. So therefore, she want to take a picture. Phone okudano into me picture. And he has to speak. She has to speak to somebody who has a phone. Obama. Don't be before the man. I said, "Would you picture now? And they send the message so can you believe these girls are getting pregnant, are being slept with just because they don't have access to put their pictures on social media? I mean, and normally be what here. Sick. I mean, how? Outside my neighbor's studio, I saw you. Yeah, when you were parking your car, I was parking my car. We were here when my daughter came and said, "Daddy, come." She said, "Okay, I want you to drop me. I'm going to have a dinner outside." And I said, "Okay." When we were going in the car, she was taking pictures. She was just taking pictures, and then she was taking pictures, and then she pointed the camera on me and said, "Daddy, smile." And then she took a picture, and she left. The point I'm making is, she's not going to beg anyone
I get
over this to go and take picture whereby the person is going to take advantage. Because the more you go to the same person to ask those favors, that person will also one day ask you for favor.
And you can't deny
it. You can't deny it, because when you deny it, you're not going to get the phone to take a picture anymore. So the causes are so silly. Silly, say these kids are getting pregnant by unnecessary reasons.
But no, sorry, I mean, if so move on. But I don't get the whole idea about parliamentary caucus on population development and parliamentary youth forum, that you want to get a law to curb the menace. I don't get it. I mean,
there's already a law.
Yes, there is law against sleeping with underage person, and issues regarding teenage pregnancy. I don't know what do you mean you're going to enact a law.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to make it very easy for them to sleep with them. I mean, that's what they're trying to say. Or people who have committed a crime, they have to make a leeway for them to
I mean, can they draw a direct correlation between what is happening now, youth unemployment, kids that are no opportunities for them, and therefore when someone offer them, funding, then they most likely they're going to take those initiated by themselves, so to speak. I'm talking about people with consent, 16 and over, that are, let's even look at the 18, 19, around those figures now. Well, and if there are no real opportunities for them now,
that is
they will look at those options.
Yeah.
So there is a direct link about, there is always the economics of it. So I don't know what they mean by they want to enact a law to keep this menace. I mean, how can the law? Anyway, maybe maybe something that
you're making sense of what you're saying, because the law is there already. At the end of the day, what you people are there to do is to prevent some of these things from happening. And so, as you guys are there and these things are happening, accept the fact that you have failed the kids. For you to say, they are talking as if this thing has been done on their blind side. They are there, and just all of a sudden something has just happened. So we are going to create a law.
A nation of laws. We have so many laws.
That's not how it happened.
It's here for say common I had in pa Siciano say studio highest and the say emotions because when you talk about children and the welfare of children, and we are all very passionate about it. But I don't want us to time check and at the moment, okay, 15 minutes, but there is two stories I'm basically touching on. One of them is Chairman Rawlings. So this week you're celebrating it 1 year. Papa Oko Nikarachi. Now one of the here's another Koma speech. And now one of the way or the where caption is also how the NATO boomed like her father about a hard NDC issue of 1 year anniversary. Now, Oka said there's one thing Ubian to me in count your back, and that is where a Ghana web caption is say NDC no. And there's some phobia or fighting. Or say the democracy we are enjoying today, somebody and a device, so we need to thank that person. And that person, obviously, she was referring to Nipapa. And Oka said, during Nipapa time, one other person and Papa or recognize other people, I know Chama Rawlings, and or recognizing him, I say, do Ajimai. And so come now NDC what baby or more into the needful thing for them to do in this say or see every family there's conflict and we need the mediators and not here and penning for no the NDC party needs to go and penning for no cofa Conedwajima Rawlings whatever it takes for them to bring the woman back into the NDC, a Bebwa party, if they really want to win power, come next election now. Omunkofa Konedu Ajimai Rawlings and Famra. Now, what is it even interesting? I have been Sean and so about out say any attempt Epson about say any attempt to bring back the Nana Konedu to NDC will stir anger and annoyance among members. When the NDC come, they be a disrose or NDC me in join NDC me, but what the real come was Cecilia, do you think say it's a good thing for Nana Konedu to come back to the NDC, not collation and as they prepare for the next election?
Nana Midase, whatever has happened between Konedu, the Rawlings, and NDC, Emre Echum. At a point, the Konedus and the Rawlings thought say the NDC couldn't stand without them.
You mean the Rawlings? But I'm
talking about
Konedu Ajima Rawlings.
Konedu Ajima Rawlings.
Okay.
Because I believe, say, before she left the NDC, it wasn't an easy decision that she took. She might have complained to the husband so many times for her to take that decision. Thank God, Rawlings is a man that he's the only person that can do what he did. It is a very, sometimes think about it, And I just can't believe that this thing has happened to Rollins. Okay. But in all that, they were able to stand as a family.
Jack, Uti, what's up,
Okay. So we have to thank them for what they did. We believe democracy started from that house. So we believe that what the senator said was good. I love it. The way she said it, the way she want the NDC to go back to Ajima Kunedu, to bring Ajima Kunedu back. That now the ball is now in NDC's hand. Because Kunedu is not an influential person on the NDC anymore. We are in a time whereby people have forgotten Kunedu altogether. I can tell you now, people remember, the youth will remember John Mahama more than Kunedu. You understand? Sometimes people talk and they don't even mention. Kunedu has become irrelevant. So people are not mentioning her.
But it's one of the relevant key things she said was history is so important, and we all know history is good, so that we know where we're coming from, and hence we need to go back to our elders, like our great grandparents or our grandparents, for them to tell us about our history.
Now, whatever history is good, it is nice that Kunedu NDC will go for Kunedu. The point I'm saying is, if they are able to do that, that will bring some harmony. Also, it will heal wounds. And there are some scars in the NDC now that could be iron, or there are some scars that could be healed. So when they find sympathy, they find a way to go for Kunedu, that is okay. But let's ask ourselves, how much has the relationship been damaged? Okay. As for anger and agitation, even yesterday, the NDC were having a meeting, yeah, and even in the meeting, from what I heard, there was still anger and mourning and everything going on. People were saying, hey, you have my name on the flyer. Why did you go and have a show without me when I was not there? Why did you put my name on the flyer and things like that? From the NDC camp, you put my name on the flyer. I have to be there for the program. But you went to the program when I was not even there. But you put my name on the flyer. So as for the agitation and argument and everything, it goes on all the time because people are trying to feel important. Because NDC is a club that you have to play your way up. If I'm making sense, you have to play your way up. So everybody is doing whatever they can to get there. But I believe if they can do that, it will be very good for the NDC. But if they don't do it, it's not going to affect NDC in any shape or form. So it is up to the NDCs. How do they call them? They've got some elderly group in the NDC. They've got some weird name. If they decide, listen, whatever has happened has happened. This lady and the husband has done something good for the country and NDC as a whole. And so we shouldn't let this relationship go without healing our wound. Because if they are able to do that, it will bring peace. But at the end of the day, how is it going to help NDC to win election? Is it going to help them to win election? I don't think so.
Mami Kosamiso, Emsa story this week we all knew the role that Kunedu Ajima played during 31st December, women empowerment and all that. As to whether it's still relevant today, that is something that needs to be discussed further. Do you think, Seth, knowing Zenato as a stand MP, NDC member, Nanahemaa torn between a mom and a papa and herself, do you think that there's been a dialogue? Definitely it's gone in. And do you think, Seth, from what you heard Zenato say, Kunedu is willing to come back to the NDC camp now, in your personal view?
I was actually going to start from where you basically directed your question to, and also from what Jesse mentioned about the Nana Konedo himself, whether her presence in the NDC is going to make any significant impact on the fortunes of the party. So let me look at that one, the latter first. Now, the impact Konedu has on the NDC, and Jesse is absolutely right, is long gone. Konedu is not relevant to the fortunes of the NDC anymore. The NDC does not need Konedu to win power. If Konedu decides to campaign even against the NDC, it's not going to have any impact at all on the NDC. So that part, there's nothing. Konedu had about 6,000 votes nationwide. She only beat Ekwadonko. So she basically has no influence. I mean, if 6,000 can make a difference to choose a presidency of a country, we know it cannot. So Konedu has definitely no impact at all. But the fundamental question you ask is whether there is a genuine remorse and regrets from the actions of Nana Konedu, Ajima Rawlings, and the actions also of the NDC. And if there are genuine remorse from both sides now, they could iron up some of the difference. Because to be quite honest with you, Nana Konedu caused more harm to the party than the party caused harm to her. Because whatever happened was an internal wrangling, which happens in every political party. But for her to actually jump ship, she wasn't pushed. No one pushed Nana Konedu. No one actually asked Nana Konedu to leave the party. She decided on her own volition to leave the party that she founded with her husband, a party that you actually have invested through your life, the toil, through the 21st December movement, all the way to PDC, PNDC, right down to constitutional democracy, for you to go through all of that. And as a result of problems in the political party, you decide to go and form your own. She has herself to blame with some of these problems. So you are right. The question is Nana Konedu also remorseful of some of the mistakes that she's done as a person to the political party, which is the NDC? And if she is, and it does appear to me, say, there is some kind of already conversation being had. I'm not sure whether it's from happening within the top hierarchy of the political party, but maybe some, elders within the party are having talks. And I'm having this inclination, because it's not only Zeneto that mentioned that. Martin Amidu also said exactly the same thing. And it looks there is a subtle way of trying to bridge the gap between, the differences that they have in with the Nana Konedu. And also, I'm pretty sure the Zeneto must have conversation with their mom and to gauge the level of how a mom will be willing to come back to the party. And you could see subtly, she's not saying this is what my mom would do, but you could clearly sense it, because this is the first time ever for a very long time that anyone from the family actually indicated there's a high possibility to say Nana Konedu. So you could see that there's something happening. But Nana, it has to come from both ways. Because yes, you will need to bring everyone on board. Nana Konedu has definitely contributed in the past to the political party, through all the interventions, the programs that she did, all the empowerment of women, everything that she's done for the party. And to quite honest, it's more to do with the respect that the party has for the husband and for such a fantastic man, what he done for the. So they will have to, in a way, find a way to bring her back into the party. But she has to be very remorseful. Very remorseful about
but
her
I mean,
actions.
let me. Do you think, say, for Zenato to come out to say this,
Yeah.
Do you think their flag bearer, who happens to be John Mahama, has also indicated that, or you think if John Mahama has not indicated that?
I believe there's a subtle conversation being had somehow in house, and normally they try to test the waters to see how people's reaction will be. So I will not be. It's not far fetched at all trying to bring someone like that, to come and join. But you know what? if they bring Nana Kunedu should not be at the helm of decision making. She should be one of the statesmen of the party, the elders of the party, because the damage she caused, when she campaigned against the party, all the video audios are there. So if you take such a person to a political campaign, I can't see they're gonna use it against you. So you will not want it. Yes, she should be in the party, but she should play a very background role as an elder of the party.
I mean, we'll all be happy if they find a way to that will be fun. Yeah.
Yes, I would say your background as someone you know monim a year a John to phone you na hin a year papa a year Nana Kwame Ampedu you know himself Wadani Benkum so and when this man came, this man has kind of come out with so many music. It doesn't matter which stage of life you are, it doesn't matter where you are penny or party wow yes he's come up with so many music attaching for baby heart. Say papa enjoy a cry and na odani benkum so na as someone about one of the discussion he said the way he's contributed to Ghana no it will be very good say man no state barrier and when it said this way a whole lot of conversation echo so now one of the stories that about he releasing it said also the president approved state barrier for Nana Kwame Ampedu. I'll say there's going to be a state barrier for the legendary musician Nana Kwame Ampedu. The veteran musician died on Tuesday, September 28, 2021, age 76. President Nana Akufo-Addo Dankwa has decided to honor Nana Kwame Ampedu with a state barrier. And sa na about Mami with a quick one, name call because your time no Edua no 7 no abo. Mami fan started Koku, so Koku, what do you remember from Nana Kwame Ampedu, and do you think that is a needful thing? Say a man no state barrier now because obibe to me argue say obey juma onye juma onya sika guni but why should you even give him that state barrier? Is it necessary? Say be ni sana and what do you remember about Nana Kwame?
So can nia mekaya Ampedu or baby when you talk about the entertainment industry those days, I mean, they did their part. When we are talking about high life, these are people that we cannot say anything about high life without mentioning them. They've done their best. As to whether he deserved a state burial, Nana, difficult. Meaning, I don't know what a state burial is. Sam, can you really tell me what state burial is?
My burial, man recognition. Something similar to what we did for our former president.
So we are comparing Ampedu to Rollins.
Yeah, Rollins and a former president, if anything, Fantini Papa, Mills. I think.
I mean, we have to be very careful, Sammy. And then I don't like the fact to say. Yeah, no, maybe DRJ and Munyam and you know, we are just doing things for. They took this man to the hospital. They put him at the door. No doctor was looking after him.
What's that being so to me? When former president Fantini President Mills when he was ill, we couldn't even have an ambulance for him.
That is the point I'm saying. There are more important things that you bet to me this guy. What is a state barrier? I mean, seriously, if we go to this stadium, I tell you what, Shatawale will have more state barrier than anybody in. So we are going to give Stonebwoy state barrier. We've given Ebony state barrier. We are going to give Shatawale state barrier. We're giving Ampedu. What about AB Grinsell?
Ebony wasn't given a state barrier. Ebony was.
She wasn't.
No, she wasn't.
But money was paid.
Who was paid?
The state contributed to his funeral.
Maybe
Because there was something about it that they were saying we have to give a state barrier. Well, fine, but so how are we going on this way that Ampedu? So we have to give him a state barrier. You know, now I mean, okay, say something. From the little that I have gathered, even Ghana and Niska to extent said, Petra Yetogu President Kemo, we have to go and borrow that money. And are we going to borrow money to go and do give Ampedu state barrier? Is that what they are saying? To be quite honest with you, Nana, you tell me. I mean, who now your host to this show? I don't really get it.
Me two questions. Do you think he deserves a state barrier?
He deserves everything, but state barrier is unique.
Okay. What do you remember about Nana Kwame Ampedu?
It's important for us to recognize the work that the man has done. I mean, the African Brothers, if you remember, that he formed that group. The man has been singing since 1963, and he sang when we were all not born. You know, we grew up hearing some of the lyrics and some of the music that he did. And he has been such a wonderful entertainer, you know, for the country. And the impact that he has in terms of the creative arts is massive. I mean, there has been a lot of awards that he's won over his lifetime. And therefore, the recognition of the performances that he's done and the impact that he has in the music industry should be recognized in a way. But I will probably, you know, look at what Jesse just said, and I was thinking about it also very carefully. The issue of state barrier. I mean, what constitutes a state barrier? Is it something that we are going to do in such a way that the state is going to, you know, bear some kind of cost?
Yeah, if it's a state barrier, then
maybe they can do it on a very low key.
It's going to take care of everything.
I don't know what they
must we use the word state barrier. You know, we can support,
but you see, it's important that we look at the impact. Is we can reward him in a very different way. You know, it might not probably have to be.
And what is music up for? Because the thing is, at the end of the day, every industry has got some form of a union.
Yeah.
And my question is, the man, whatever he did was a career.
Because you know what, Super Odi died and we didn't give him a state barrier.
Exactly.
If we did, I don't remember. But so you Jesse will be right to say you have to be careful, because then the discrimination comes.
That is where I'm saying that whatever he was doing, it was is kind of nejuma oye. Maybe also wejuma oye ochraje. Now ubenya even you can even get a best teacher award because of the impact you will have on young generation. Even Baba doctors, all wolves of profession. Do we give those people state barrier?
I think and that's why this country does it very well.
Exactly.
They do it through their award system.
Exactly.
OBEs, you know, MBEs, you know, those sort of
medals. Maybe sometimes deeper 5 family.
Yeah, but
what I'm saying is the state can recognize that in a very totally different way through
by building a charity.
Yeah, you know, something then putting his name on, you know, that sort of thing. That will probably have more impact in terms of the historical perspective of it, because and I don't know whether they will do that. If let's say one of the art council they mount a statue,
his picture over
in the Arts Council to demonstrate the decades of work that he's done. That is more motivation.
History. We are building history.
Historical. So I don't know. I mean, they might have to. But Jesse is right, I mean, is it being done because of the sake of it, for the fact that Nanado is in trouble, so he's trying to find a way around to get his name. But the man is a Kwauma. Kwau people, they are very rich anyway. I don't think he needs the state to bury him. The man will be able to bury himself.
I mean, I have seen this guy, the taxi driver guy, Titi.
Yeah.
Titi is also talking about
Health.
his health and his poor.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the vice president went there and said, "Oh, I'll give you." The vice president is rich.
Yeah.
He is so rich. I don't know where he gets his money from. and then the mayor of Accra goes and says, "Oh, give him 3 months of money." What would your wife and children live on if you give 3 months of your pay?
It's interesting
to somebody.
Isn't
It doesn't happen in this country.
Isn't it the case? That breeds. That's where the corruption starts.
Exactly. That is what we are talking about.
But look, but the recognition of the work that man Ampedu has done it has to be recognized. The state wants to recognize it. They can recognize it a very, very different way. Yeah, but we don't know.
You know what I feel is this whom you know thing. People have gone there pushing buttons. Oh, you know what Nana Ampedu has done, so and so and so. Please, you have to get involved so people are pushing buttons.
Senior Didonko, he did well. He didn't. There was a musician that also died. Very important.
One of Joalaka also died recently.
They've all,
They carried him. They used to carry Joalaka on a. He couldn't even buy diabetes medicine, insulin. He couldn't buy insulin.
A whole Juaka.
So we
but,
have.
But how did they live their life? To that point where you get to the age where you retire and there is no retirement money.
You see,
that is another discussion that needs to be stretched.
This music industry, I believe this case, Shatawale and all these guys, they are lucky to come from a dispensation whereby you can go and shoot video and put it on YouTube, and YouTube will pay you indirectly without even consulting anybody. But these guys didn't have it like the way these guys.
But people around that time they had money.
They had money.
They had money.
But
they had money.
They had
money.
More of investment.
I wouldn't say they were poor. I wouldn't say they were poor because all of them. But if Nana Ampedu had money, have you seen his house that he's living in?
No, I haven't. I mean, but that's the point I'm making. I mean, how did he got to the point where there's no retirement benefit anywhere, no investment in something that you retire to?
So Titi, what happens to Titi? Titi
he's also one of those.
He's a lecturer. This guy is a teacher.
Yeah.
The other guy who is ill. He used to be in TVT other Papa.
Jagapi?
Not Jagapi. Oh, Jagapi is so younger. Now Tai Kukwanansi. He used to play that role of Kukwanansi.
This guy. Amugi.
Amugi. All these people, they are all these veterans. No? People
go there and
donate. So
if you look at all of them now, we can see, say, they had money. And they didn't.
They had money, Nana. They had money. The creative arts that they were in, they were leading. They can't say they didn't have money. I think the choices of investment into retirement were some of the problems that we have as a country. People don't really invest in their retirement age. Our pension system is a shambles. So without proper investment in some of these areas, because when you're young, you don't think about these things. But 20 years down the line, when you cannot work, then there is you, and then you start.
It's here for his sister Diako Soyani Petri. It's how did you medina na ABC? And I'd like to extend my special thank you to you, Sonny, all this time from 5 o'clock till now. At this week here, so we looked at teenage pregnancy is on the ascendancy. Yes, over a year and cry as early or as kind of young as 10 years. Eti parliament say despite emrana wo ho no ye ba be hye mrakete nti so wonim so wo shapana wo ruler na pe baby pa ne fako. Now we looked at the securities in Ghana, robbery, so then we relate that to the current IGP, say what can he put in place? Then from there, you Bora NDC, then we looked at the collation between NDC and bringing back a year because a divorce or no a year the connect money NDC or more no good is a recipe. Ye DM Papa Rollins the 1 year ye bet to me I be a fan one. Ye fear no ye the bar upon 10 ye remember a Papa Ampedu say Sisia no na ado show boy ado prema wajia tumze be manno state barrier. Ain't it making sure so who lead your life as a young person, yes, who did you know be? Then you put things in place so that in your old age, you know, I'm not saying it's an mobile, but it's something we need to look at as people as we grow because age will catch up on us, Yare will catch up on us, war will catch up on us. It's inevitable, but what have we put in place? 80 and send brain boss media and Nanahemaa, many my bigger for a bonsu on it somewhat ama and then a DJ ain't someone and can be ma that's a net beam and you were feeding free head beam because from this one it was inspirational hour a Pastor Cook or the numa ed any and some my muboto ye but many were feeding uncle Habia next week. Bye bye.